Hey, Salam. Let me take this off. That off. All right. Salam. My name is Mustafa. Let's play that again. Let's do that again. Where is that? Uh, oh, take it off studio mode. All right. Nameplate. Let's play it again. There we go. There I am. Let's raise this up a little bit. Need to be a little higher. There we go. There we go. All right. We got personal YouTube channel in the chat. I'm doing all right. Thanks. Thanks for asking. How you doing? So I think so. Last one for Steel Blade was Rush. Wait, what? You hold on. Oh, let me change from top chat to live chat. Oh, there's still only you. That's Are you replying to somebody? I'm confused. Oh, you're answering the question of the title. Okay, now I get it. All right. Anyways, how you guys doing? Salam, my name is Mustafa. So I've experience in the game industry. I've worked in the AAA. I've worked administration. Let's tilt it a little bit. Administration with Treyarch during Black Ops 4 development. I've worked in the indie software development. It was an indoor cycling game doing QA work. Um indie work. I've released my own game, Next Defenders, and I have another game on hold. I need to get back to that. And I've taught at the community college level, game design, game testing, as well as graphic communication. So that's my background on this channel. I talk about my perspective on like gaming topics, game industry related topics, and I give my viewpoint and talk about issues, potential solutions, etc. So, anyways, let's get on to talking about the stream. Let's get on to the stream. As I already said, hi to personal YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate the personal YouTube channel. Um, Still love your username. Great username. The quality has not gone down. I don't know how I guess the quality goes down like when you come up with like a bad username like in high school and you think it sounds cool and edgy, and then 20 years later you regret everything because you're still using the same email address, and everything's tied to that email address, and you're like, why did I choose that? Why did I choose that name? That's when your name gets worse. Anyways, everyone who's in the live chat, welcome. Appreciate you guys being in here. So today, I didn't really know what to talk about. I did find a video. That's kind of why I started a little late. Well, once I started starting up the stream, I realized my audio wasn't working, so I had to figure out why it wasn't working. Got it working now. A lot of stuff wasn't working, but I realized that if I have my VPN on, then uh, I can't connect with the phone camera because it's I use a phone to put myself on here rather than a webcam because the phone camera is pretty good, and it uses the Wi-Fi, and if I have the VPN on, it don't work. So I gotta turn off the VPN. Also, I got like a new printer recently and realized same issue. If I have the VPN on, I can't print. I have a free VPN. I don't have a VPN that which this is the Proton VPN. So I use the free Proton VPN. That might be why. But anyways, um so the topic I found for today, it seems like most people are still talking about the PlayStation no disc stuff. Like that seems to still be the hot topic of discussion. So I don't want to talk about it again. I don't have anything new to add regarding that. So I'm like, why even cover it again if I don't have anything new to add? So One second. Messenger and yeah, so if I don't have anything new to add, I'm like, why should I even say anything about it? So I was trying to find something else to talk about. Most of the stuff that came about are really small topics. So what I decided to do this time is I found a video by Daryl Talks Games, and this is a channel that does video essays, sometimes like game design related. Um, just talking about uh just topics on gaming. And I guess Daryl make I haven't watched one of his videos in a long time. I'm subscribed to him, but I just haven't watched to his videos in a long time. But I see this one called "Can a Game Be Objectively Bad?" So the link to the video will be, or it should be in the description right now if you want to like check it out for yourself. But we're gonna watch it together and talk about this. And then after that, we'll probably have some other topics to go over as well. Maybe some smaller topics. So let's get him on the screen real quick. Oh, well, first let me get transition. There we go. Got that on. And then it's well, at least the chat's now available, but it looks like the chat hasn't um it's not recognizing what was on the chat already, so I guess it needs to load it back up. Whenever a somebody types something, um, then it will show up again. But let's go over to here, transition to that. All right, there we go. So let's get that out of the way. So there, this is Daryl Talks Games. Sony stopped physical in 2028 is bad, but I find PlayStation fans switching to Steam in protest is strange because Steam is digital anyways. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second. Um, Cam plus notifications. Let's switch over. Yeah, so yeah, it is going from digital to digital. So some people who are like, in support of Sony are pointing this out and saying that this is hypocrisy. But there's also a huge difference between Sony's DRM and PlayStation's DRM. So first of all, like not all games on Steam have DRM. There are some games that do not have any DRM at all, but those games don't utilize like the Steam achievements, and the Steam integration. So there's that downside, but there are games that do not have DRM. Those are the minority though, but those are the exception. Aside from that, though, I think one major difference between Steam's DRM and oh, I did the wrong one. Let me get this one. Campus chat. All right, transition. There we go. There we get the chat on the screen. There we go. So, like a major difference between Steam's DRM and PlayStation's DRM is that Steam is not only easier to share with family members, if you have family members that you want to share your game library with, but also it's easier for yourself with multiple devices. For example, like let's say you have your work computer, you have your gaming computer, you have a computer at a different location. You can install Steam and then install the game, and you shouldn't have any problems. It should be very simple for you to install Steam, log in, download the game, run it, and you're cool. PlayStation, on the other hand, it's there are limitations to like how many devices you're able to log in, how many devices you can install the game on, etc. There are more limitations to the DRM with PlayStation. Um, I mean, that's like, I mean, on surface level, when you look at it, say, yeah, these two are both digital. You are right, but there is more to it than that, and the fact that PlayStation, is more restrictive, and on top of that, in addition to all that, the prices for PlayStation, are more steep. The games are more expensive. They don't go on sale as often, and the sales generally aren't as steep. The discounts aren't as steep as, um, Steam's discounts, and that's a huge difference because, um, PlayStation, I believe there was a statement from them the other day stating that they don't plan on, lowering the prices of games once it goes digital only, which is a factor that, a lot of people think about. It's like, okay, well, if these games are going to be digital only, should they be cheaper? And PlayStation's like, nah, no, it's not going to be cheaper. So not only are the games not going to be cheaper, but they're also, they're going to stay the same price and also go on sale less often. The discounts aren't going to be as strong. Um, so it's an accumulation of multiple factors that makes Steam more appealing than PlayStation being digital only. Also, like with Steam, you have the ability to purchase Steam keys from elsewhere. Like for example, if Square Enix decides to do their own sale, the Final Fantasy sale on their website, and they're selling the Steam keys on there, you're able to buy the Steam key from that third party website, and then um insert that key onto you know not insert, but what's the word I'm looking for? Not validate, but you can what does Steam, anyways, you can use that Steam key to get the game on your account. Though the downside is you're not going to be able to leave a review and have it say you're a verified um a customer. So, that's another big difference because you're able to buy Steam keys from more platforms than you are able to buy, for example, PlayStation Network keys. Like basically PlayStation Network keys, if you go to the store, you can buy like a card um to either redeem like, PlayStation Network credits or sometimes a game, but it's not the same as far as like those going on sale. Like for example, I saw at the store there are these cards for Pragmata, the game that just came out with by Capcom. And these cards were, I can't remember, they're 50, 60. It was a full price game. It was full price. And these cards to redeem the PlayStation Network um code, they're just not, it's never gonna go on sale. They're not gonna sell them at a cheaper rate, like 20 bucks or whatever. Unlike, Steam keys, you purchase them from, again, like, for example, Square Enix's sale or whatever publisher, they're doing a sale on their website, they're selling Steam keys, they're gonna, like, make it dirt cheap. So, there's a lot of factors that make Steam still more appealing than PlayStation. Um, Let me get back to this. Hey, Cosgrove, how you doing? How you doing, Cosgrove? I don't think that they mean only Steam when they say Steam too. And go, yeah. Good morning. Yeah, I agree with you. When someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Steam," like that just basically means they're going to go on PC, and that doesn't. uh, If they open up a Steam account, they're not restricted to only Steam. Like they can still purchase games on wherever else. Like, that's a huge difference. Unlike PlayStation, you are literally restricted to the PlayStation Store. On PC, yes, Steam is the main digital store, but you're not restricted to it. Um, so let's get back to this. Let's transition. Let's start talking about Daryl Talks Games. Where are you? Oh, let's go over here. Transition. Hey, Mohsen, how you doing, Mohsen? I assume this question counts in the context that the game is bug free and has no technical issues. Um. Oh, the question of the title of the video. We'll see. We'll see. So we're gonna watch Daryl Talks Games. Let me get my headphones on. If if his video is too loud, or if I need to adjust the volume at all, let me know. Please let me know. Say either, like, those of you in the chat, please say either make louder, or make lower. And
Final Fantasy 13 is the
whoops, let's stop. Let's make this since it's a 20-minute video, let's make this what are we at? Speed. Make this 1.5. And we'll see what he has to say.
worst game I have ever loved. This game is like croutons on a salad. It physically hurts to chew, but damn, let me get some more of them. Final Fantasy 13 is the worst game I have ever loved. This game is like croutons on a salad. It physically hurts to chew, but damn, let me get some more of them. 13 is chronically narrow. The amount of times, especially in the early game, where you go down a pretty hallway and fight the same assortment of enemies is unacceptable. Not to mention, there are remarkably few towns to stop in compared to other Final Fantasies. It feels like you never really arrive anywhere. The plot might be good, the characters certainly act like the stakes are high, and there are moments of genuine humanity that do stand out, but you may never know that because the game opens with so many fantasy SAT words. Fal'Cie, Pulse, Pulseless, Seath, the Purge. The opening act is 20 pounds of excitement in a 10-pound bag, and while this is thrilling, it also kind of fails to set up its narrative foundation, or at least it did for me. And yet, Final Fantasy 13 is one of my favorite games, maybe ever. And sure, some of this is nostalgia from high school when I first played, let's be clear, but also the soundtrack is this enchanting assortment that perfectly complements the cast. If you listen closely, you start to realize that each character has a key instrument that highlights their time on screen. Vanille's is a subtle, dreamlike piano.
It's only water.
Saz has splashy drums. Lightning has a triumphant violin. Hope
so far, sounds like he's talking about he's talking about guilty pleasures. Anyways, let me check the chat real quick, see if you guys are saying this is too loud or not loud enough. Game can be better. Yeah, can somebody in the chat let me know? Should I adjust the volume at all? Louder, lower, or stay the same? Let me know in the chat before I continue. Movie can play. So, at first I was thinking he was talking about guilty pleasures when the video started up. I never played Final Fantasy 13. I remember when this game came out, there were a lot of complaints that it was extremely linear, and it wasn't until like very far into the game that it becomes open world. But now it doesn't sound like he's talking about guilty pleasures. It sounds more like he's saying, yeah, this game's really good, but it has its flaws. Let's see. Lost Soul Aside was absolutely terrible on Steam performance-wise.
Right. A gentle guitar, whereas Snow's is a full-blown electric guitar, which outlines their ironic similarities. And the environments, oh my goodness, so many places in this game are cloaked in that style. You know the one. I'm told that it's called Gen X Soft Club aesthetic. Very urban, very cool colors, very minimalist, very futuristic in a way that never really came to be. Tie all that in with a battle system that, while repetitive, did shine for me in moments, and an ending that, I mean, for God's sakes, they brought in Leona Lewis to do the final song. How could I not cry? Also, they filmed a commercial with Leona Lewis where she's very clearly not actually playing the game. Final Fantasy
Daryl really loves music because he spent like over a minute just talking about music alone.
13 is a game that I know my brain screams is not a good game, and yet I'm strangely obsessed with it. Bet money you have a game just like this.
Let's see. Hold on. Cosgrove says when the soundtrack is highlight of the movie/game, it is a sign that Final Fantasy 13 is trash. It's also not a good game story-wise. Fun to play. Yeah, I mean, like, as far as like if the soundtrack being the highlight, that was basically what the people that were praising mixtape or only talk about the soundtrack, and to make it worse for the major difference between Final Fantasy 13 and mixtape. I haven't played either game, but from my understanding is that at least Final Fantasy 13's music is original, while mixtape's music is completely licensed out. Uh, The Room is a bad movie, but man, is it fun to watch. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what Daryl's point is, because it seems like he really loved the music, but let's see what his
Bet
point
money there's a
is.
game that you've played that you know logically sucks, and yet it's a guilty pleasure. How does this happen? How do we arrive at this level of strange dissonance? And the obvious answer is, of course, that we like the things we like about it enough to disregard the things we don't. And I was at peace with that answer. God, I was at so much peace. Until recently, I was streaming, and this topic came up. Do y'all believe in... This is that. I'm glad you said that, MK. Do y'all believe in games being objectively good or objectively bad? Or is that just a bunch of hogwash? And the discussion that we had in chat that day ruined my life. It informed this video.
I believe that yes, a game can be objectively good or objectively bad, but it's also fine to like something that's bad. I think having self awareness is fine. It's actually good to have self awareness, rather than being rather than denying that the game is bad. I think, you know, you can have self-awareness and be like, yeah, this is bad, but I still like it. Like, for example, Advent Rising is a game that had some issues gameplay wise. Like, it was extremely buggy, but it was a game I really liked. I can admit it was a bad game, but um you know, like, just because you enjoy it doesn't mean that it's a good game, and also just because it's a bad game doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
In the process of trying to come up with an answer, I turned to you. I asked folks on Patreon, hey, what is a game that you know in your heart of hearts is not a good game, but you absolutely love it anyway? And the sheer amount of people that responded was not only telling, but also the amount of times the word objectively got tossed around, I felt was significant. Especially since nowhere in my prompt did I use that word. Perhaps you've pushed up your glasses and proclaimed that you cannot use that word correctly unless it's a fact. Like, objectively, there was a Kingdom Hearts 4 teaser this summer. Subjectively, it was a Nothing Burger trailer. And I agree with that. The trailer being a Nothing Burger, it was clearly just Nintendo being like, hey, we're gonna have that too. But I also agree that by definition, objectively really does not belong in this discussion, no matter what I may rage bait you with in the title of this video. But today, I want to discuss that temptation to use the word objectively here because, well, it's like the old saying about wisdom. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. Knowledge is knowing that Skyrim is a better game than, oh dear, but wisdom is knowing that you're much...
I mean, I see this point that he's getting to, but I do want to say that you can objectively say if that a game is good or bad. Like, if you can to say it's objectively bad, it's something that you can, like, quantify, you can measure, you can point at, you could say these certain things make it bad, but you could still have fun. Like, I mean, the most obvious would be bugs. Like, if it's a very buggy game, you can objectively say, "Hey, this game's a mess." The amount of mess that this game has outweighs like all these other factors. It brings the game's quality down. Uh, Game design. You can look at game design and say, yeah, objectively, the gameplay loop is sluggish. It's boring. It has all these issues. You could say that, hey, they could do these. You can point at certain aspects of the gameplay loop and say it could be better if they did XYZ. All these things are objective. Subjective is like, I didn't really like it. I would prefer if they did this. Objective's like, no, they did this thing and it made it worse. Hey, what's up, Servanon? How's it going?
more likely to actually play Oh Dear this weekend. How is it that we can hate something we admit is good and love something that we admit is bad? So grab a snack, get cozy, and while you do that, I'll quickly tell you about today's sponsor, and then we'll dive right in.
Whoa,
Have you, my friend, ever tasted the exquisite joy of
sponsor.
overcoming a genuine challenge?
No sponsor. Where's Booty Dev? Let's skip the sponsor ad. Speaking of sponsors, not really a sponsor, but for those of you watching the stream, please leave a like. It would really help out the algorithm. And if you want to leave a super chat at any point, I'd appreciate it. But you don't have to leave a super chat. It's totally optional. Also, we do have memberships on the channel. At the end of the video, I'll give a shout out to all the members who are part of the members. If you're a member of the members, you have membered the membership members. Anyways, remember the members. But if you want to be a member and support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. I'll give you a shout out at the end of the live stream, and as well, I'll do the videos as well. So, anyways, let's get back to this.
Have you ever heard of the game Coconut Simulator?
No.
For some pocket lint and an old gum wrapper, you can simulate what it's like to be a coconut. But because coconuts don't do much besides this, there really are no controls or objectives in this game. You can move the camera around and observe both the scenery and your score slowly rise as you successfully continue to be a coconut, but that is the entire experience. Would you call this a good game?
No. I think no, this is a meme. It's a meme game. It exists only to be a meme. This is not even a game.
Answer says a lot about you. When this topic first came up on stream, I made the point that the way I rate games is how well I feel the game accomplishes what it intended to do. I define it by what it's trying to do.
No, I completely disagree with that. This entire idea, because if that is how you define if a good game is good or bad, then yeah, Coconut Simulator is a great game, but it's not a game. What makes a game is like challenge and rules. So let me take a step backward first. There's a difference between playing with something, playing with a toy. All right, let's this is a stress ball. All right, let's switch over here. All right, transition. There's a stress ball. Actually, this is better. This is better. All right, let's get this. This is a fidget toy. Has an analog stick that does nothing. I could push it down. Has like a switch on here. Has a spinny thing. Has these buttons that click. Has these. It has a bunch of stuff on it. What is this, a toy or a game? Like, it has buttons, like a controller. It has buttons like this, but it does nothing. The difference between a toy and a game is that games have rules. Toys are something you just play with. So a game has some sort of rule set, something that prevents you from progressing, and the rule set is what differentiates itself between a toy and a game. And the rule set provides some sort of a challenge. The challenge is what prevents you from just like finishing the game immediately. Challenge is what results to fun. A game doesn't need to be challenging. I mean, that's what is the difference between a good game and a bad game. But the challenge is what leads to fun, and the rules is what differentiates itself between a toy and a game. Just because something does what's it's intended, if the designer intended for something and it met that intention, it doesn't mean it's a game, nor does it mean it's good or bad. If the designer is bad at designing, but it still did what the designer intended, and it didn't entice the players at all, and and it was a boring experience, let me stop this ad. Stop. Like, it doesn't mean that the designer did a good job. It's like the whole argument of, well, it's intentionally boring. It's intentionally bad. It's intentionally this way. Okay, if it was intentionally that way, it doesn't make any better. Making it intentionally a certain way does not excuse bad design. Uh, Mustn't. Yeah. As far as the job, I'll talk about updates later. I'll talk about that after the video is over. Would you argue a game must have a fail state to qualify as a game? Fail state. No. I don't think a fail state is necessary. It needs some sort of resistance. The resistance can be a fail state, but it doesn't need to have a fail state. I don't think that's something that is necessary. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but generally, I don't think a fail state like checkpoints or restarts. I don't think those are exactly. Let me put it this way. So, in what year that game came out? 2008. Prince of Persia, the colorful one. Prince of Persia, 2008. Was that it? Yeah, yeah. And this. So let's get that trailer on the screen. YouTube. Just so I could talk about it while Prince of Persia 2008 trailer. Yeah. So we'll just have this on screen real quick. Transition. Yeah, so let's mute the sound, put this on screen. So this game, Prince of Persia 2008. This got a lot of negative reception when it first came out. And I also feel like a lot of it came from people who didn't even like these type of games. For example, I remember Total Biscuit. Rest in peace, Total Biscuit. He was dogging on this game, saying it was bad because of the fact that you restart, there was no fail state. But he also, like, within the same video review, he's talking about like these games aren't even his thing, and he doesn't really like Prince of Persia games. He doesn't like platformers. It's like, okay, then, like, if you don't even like these games, like, how are you judging if this is good or not? If you don't understand like what makes it good, then how you judging if it's good or not? So this game, if you fall off a cliff, you fall into a bottomless pit, you will come back up. Like there's no loading screen, there's no you don't go back to the beginning of the level. You just go back to the last solid ground you were on. And that, especially for the boss fights, that could be like 5 minutes worth of platforming. Because some of those boss fights have like very long sequences. So you might have to do a really long sequence all over again. There was challenge to this game. The combat is challenging. The platforming gets progressively harder as you go throughout the game. Yes, it has an open world, and you get to choose which levels you go to. The first it has like 4 levels, and then it has like another 4 levels. But those first 2 levels are easier than the second the second set of 4 levels. Point being, there is a challenge to the game, but people wants to pretend there's no challenge just because you like respawn so quickly. The lack of respawn did not remove the challenge. The lack of sorry, not the lack of respawn, the lack of fail state, the lack of game over. That's what I meant. You do respawn, but the lack of game over did not remove the challenge. There is plenty of challenge in this game. The game actually got pretty hard near the end, but I don't think that it needs to have a fail state. Power Wash Simulator has no real fail state, no game over screen, no health bar, but you can't really fail. I'm not really too sure about. I've never played Power Wash Simulator, so I don't know what the gameplay loop is like. I'm assuming it's like one of those Zen type of games where you just feel good about the removal of whatever you're washing off. Like there are certain genres of games where it's basically like the equivalent of popping bubble wrap. You're not really doing anything, and at that point, it's more of a toy. It's not really a game; it's more of a toy. Let's go back to Daryl.
Is that a bad game? Because like it doesn't have a lot of features, but that's the point. It achieves its objectives perfectly. To me, this is the universal good or bad measure. If the goal is to
Like I said, I completely disagree with this. This whole idea completely. That is a subjective definition of what makes a good game.
a sweeping dramatic adventure with a deep reflection on what it is to be human in the face of mortality, then yes, Dark Souls, Expedition 33, Final Fantasy X, oh dear, these games accomplish this and they do so with flying colors. It's why I rate them highly. But when I play a game like Detention that is trying to weave Taoism and Buddhism with a narrative on adolescence all under a spooky umbrella, but then it takes me out of the story it's trying to tell because I find the interactions with the monsters clunky and frustrating, I have to shave some points off. To me, it's less about the pieces individually and more so, do they all come together elegantly to give me the experience the developers intend? And the nice thing about this evaluation method is, it gets around
that. I think this is where his
together elegantly to give me the experience
the experience the developers intend. I feel like this is where his thesis falls apart, because just because it's part of the developer's intention doesn't mean it's good. It's like, okay, I intended it to be that way. Well, you should have thought better about it. For example, with my game, Nexus Defenders, some of the levels can take like 20 to 30 minutes long to beat because of how long the waves are, etc. I can't remember. I think maybe they get that long. But afterwards, like part of my post-mortem, I realized it was probably better to make more shorter levels than having like, like 7 really long levels, because once you like if somebody gets to like the final wave of the level, it's a tower defense game, you're waiting for the waves, and then you get to the last wave and then you die, you lose, you just wasted like 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And for a lot of people, that could be the deal breaker. That could be like, hey, I just wasted 20 minutes on this game. I have to do it all over again. I don't want to play this game anymore. So my intention, okay, I want to make this difficult. I'm going to make this 20 to 30 minutes long. But then the reception is, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore if I'm going to spend 20 to 30 minutes and then lose, I have to do it all over again. So maybe my intention was bad. Just because I intended for it doesn't mean it's a good outcome. Maybe I should like step back, look at it all over again, and be like, hey, maybe I should just have twice as many levels and make them shorter levels. Maybe that would be more fun.
Developers intend. And the nice thing about this evaluation method is, it gets around things that some might consider bad game design. Like, Silent Hill 2 has those awkward-ass controls and terrible camera, but to me, that helped tell the story. James is not a Hollywood blockbuster badass, he's a traumatized 30-something with no training wandering around a haunted town. I should feel very vulnerable playing as him. Combat?
Well, it's one thing to feel vulnerable, but there's another thing, like, if we just look back here a second ago.
Consider bad game design. Like, Silent Hill 2 has those awkward-ass controls and terrible camera, but
like right there where the camera was the controls and the camera were fighting each other. It's one thing to feel vulnerable, it's another thing to have the controls fight with the player. Like, you could still have the player feel vulnerable without making the controls being a struggle. Though if that is part of the hook, the game's hook, for example, that game where you are inside a pot and you have this sledgehammer and you're trying to climb, what was it, like what's the game called? Let's see. The game you play in a pot and climb with a sledgehammer. Well, chat, tell me before Leo tells me. Yeah, getting over it. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy, this game. This game. Like, that is literally part of the hook of the game, is to have bad controls. Like, this is literally the hook of the game, is that you're trying to overcome the bad controls. Okay, all right. But if the hook of the game is to, like, okay, you're being a vulnerable person in a horror environment, does the game need to have bad controls? No. You can still have good controls that the player isn't fighting against, but still feel vulnerable. Let's see. What are we saying here? Personal YouTube channel says, I don't know if Yang was serious about LSA having good story, but if he intended his passion project to be a good game, but he succeeded. Bad control such camera just create frustration, not immersion. He has the conceit total. Yeah, I'll agree with I'll agree with that. Like, creating frustration doesn't always mean you are you're building the immersion, like, just like what Mustin said. I mean, going back to my example with getting over it with Bennett Foddy, like, that is literally the hook of the game, which is the bad controls. But if you're playing, Silent Hill, and you feel like you're having an arm wrestling match with the controls, like, you could do a little bit better.
To me, that helped tell the story. James is not a Hollywood blockbuster badass, he's a traumatized 30-something with no training wandering around a haunted town. I should feel very vulnerable playing this, and combat should be stressful, making those clunky controls fit the narrative beautifully. So, you could say by my current rubric, Coconut Simulator is a fantastic game, because while not having controls is probably bad game design, it's a good game design if the point is you don't have controls. In fact, if you swap out of arcade mode into realistic mode, it might be a perfect game, because, what do you know it, coconuts don't have eyes or ears. Here is what a coconut really experiences. Game of the year. Let me be clear.
See, this is going back to what I said earlier. It's a meme. Like, the entire, like, obviously the developer created a meme game, and like, this is a little bit frustrating, the fact that he is taking this seriously. The whole point of meme games is that you create something funny, possibly like low replay value, but it goes viral because of it being a meme, and then you make some money off of that. Like, that's literally the whole point. And I'm afraid he's taking this too seriously. Like, that kind of hurts my head. He made a game out of frustration with Final Fantasy 15 being bad. He also Okay, you guys having a discussion over there. All right, let's get back to
good
this.
Argument has always pissed me off, and one reason I adopted this method is because it seems to tear apart that stance at every turn. You always have to look at design choices in context. Even if someone makes the case, yeah, but objectively, slow movement speed is bad and will only annoy players. What about if the game is punishing you for carrying too much, forcing you into an interesting decision? What if the game wants you to start slow at the start to teach you that you can dodge without spamming dash? What if narratively it's there to make you feel weak and desperately close to your demise? The same thing goes for movies. Good, clean lighting is generally...
I agree with context being important. That's why I mentioned the getting over it with Bennett Foddy. Like, that's in that context, having back controls makes sense, because that's literally the whole
good cinematography.
The hook.
Unless it's a horror flick, then less is more to really cloak the threat and weaponize that ambiguity. Clean audio is objectively the right thing to use. unless an explosion just happened. A tomato is a great ingredient unless you're making a fruit salad. There is always an exception. And let me tell you, I would love to put this video to bed here. I really, really would. I thought that this was an elegant solution, but unfortunately...
Well, you can't put you can't put it to bed here because of the fact that, it still doesn't address the fact that I state that this is a meme game. It's literally a meme. Just because it's a meme game doesn't mean it's a good game. Like, the difference between, like, something being a successful meme and something being a good game, there's definitely a line between those two. Because just because something is good at being a meme, it's funny, it got people to check it out, it made some money, but 20, 30, 50 years down the road, no one's gonna be like, yo, Coconut Simulator, that I enjoyed that time. Like, this is literally like a dopamine distraction. Like, it's there and it goes away. It's the equivalent of having, like, you're doom scrolling and you see a funny video and maybe you might share it with a few people, but it's not something that's substantial. It's not something that has a powerful message. It's not something that is even like, doesn't mean it's good. It's interesting. Like, interesting and good are two different things.
Here's where my argument crumbles like my favorite teams in the postseason. Yes, every artistic choice does vary depending on context. But if that's true, we could hypothetically draw up a super complex chart, right? We could literally define when certain techniques are best used and avoided. Screen shake and pulsing music is good when hitting or getting hit, not so much in the middle of dialogue. Ammo is best placed right before a boss and not before...
Mohsen, you're right. Why make a whole tower? Why should someone make a tower defense game to begin with? I mean, I'm gonna be real. I know you're being funny. But I'm gonna be real. I shouldn't have made a tower defense game. I mean, I don't regret making the game in general because of the fact that it was a good learning experience. But yeah, I do regret choosing tower defense for a game in which I was wanting to make some money. It's definitely not a game to make money off of.
A really calm section when you don't need it. Glitches are bad. Unless fourth wall breaking horror. And if you are in school to make games or movies or food, this is exactly what you were learning. There are literally grading rubrics out there that damn sure believe there's an objectively correct way to craft these things, and maybe this is the standard that some of us have rooted deep within our DNA from years and years of playing and analyzing. Maybe this is what people are collectively referring to when they critique games, and maybe that is what you feel when you slowly accept that one of your favorite games is kind of ass. So perhaps there is some level of correct versus incorrect.
So as far as like correct and incorrect, yeah, there are correct ways to do things, but there's always exceptions and extremes that break the rule in the right way that create something unique and creative. This is why having something completely driven by AI is not ever going to push the envelope, because AI looks at the averages. It looks at all, like, if you're generating a AI artwork, all right, AI image, it looks at its data sets and it takes the average, and the average is why it ends up looking good, because average generally looks good. But you're never going to have anything that is extraordinary. You're never going to have anything that looks spectacular, because it's not going to push the envelope. And this is where creativity comes in. When you understand the rules and principles, like if you understand the principles of design and you go against it the right way, you're going to, it might be divisive. It might make some people angry, but also might get other people excited. They'll see it and like, wow, that was pretty creative. You're not going to get that from the average. So yeah, when you look at what generally makes something good, if you're not an expert, that's what you should look at. You should look at the principles that make something good. And then once you become an expert, you are able to bend the rules and break the principles, and then you can come up with something creative. If you're a beginner, don't try to break the rules, because if you don't understand the fundamentals, then you're not going to make something good. Like, for example, rather than let's use an analogy of being a fighter. If you're a fighter, you want to, like, let's say you're into Muay Thai or whatever. You want to have the very basic essentials. You want to have your guard correct. You want to protect your face. You want to have your arms like an L shape. Sorry, 11 shape. You're gonna block more this way, and you want to focus on the basic punches. You want to focus on jab cross. Your very basic punches. You don't want to do something fancy like a Superman punch or a spinning back fist, because you're still a beginner. Focus on your jab cross before you do a spinning back fist. Because when you do a spinning back fist, that opens you up to get knocked out while your back is turned towards your opponent. So the point with that is that get good with the basics, and then you can start experimenting and doing more tricky things. Same thing with games. Like, focus on understanding what makes a game good. What are the expectations of the genre you're working on? And then, like, when you're really good and you understand the ins and outs of that genre and you want to try something new, yeah, then start changing stuff up. Then start breaking some rules and doing some things that are unexpected, and then you could come up with something new. Let's see, but can it be argued that most beginner success was achieved by breaking rules, like Coconut Game? Undertale was my real example. From what I understand, Undertale wasn't even Toby Fox's first game. Like, people wanna like make it as if it was like a one-hit wonder, or like a he got success on his first try. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on one second. Gemini, let's ask. Let's ask. How many games did Toby Fox make before he got a with Undertale? Let's see. Let's see what. All right, Toby Fox, two notable, publicly known. Aside from ROM hacks, he experienced with. So yeah, so what, like, he made like a couple other games before Undertale, and also some ROM hacks. Um so the point with that is that, Toby Fox didn't start with Undertale. That wasn't his first game. He built on the fundamentals first. Like, he made an Earthbound, Halloween themed Earthbound. He made another game, Arn's Winter Quest, which is a Super Nintendo ROM hack, and some other ROM hacks. So, like, it sounds like he was really into Earthbound and made multiple Earthbound type games before he got to Undertale. And that builds off of the point I was making, that, like, start with the fundamentals, get good with making like the basics, and then start experimenting and changing stuff up. Um, let's get back to this. So, like,
in play, and if there is, the colloquial objectively bad may have some ground, and my method of rating games is flawed. I mean, look, you don't get to just decide what the devs intended when you finish the game. You can't retroactively go back and justify certain decisions as, oh yeah, they meant to do that. There is a massive hypocrisy there, and I'm guilty of it, I realize, as I type this fucking script. I literally critiqued Detention for the same thing I praised Silent Hill for. You can go back and rewatch it from a moment ago. Hell, you might have already left an angry comment. That's okay, leave it. It helps the analytics. But now, suddenly, we might have our answer. Sounds like there is a true good and bad if we are to subscribe to this chart of when certain certain decisions in design are appropriate. This explains why you can like a game that you know is bad, because there kind of is a definition of bad to work with. And it's at this point of me writing the script and also having this discussion on stream that I can see the exit ramp and the final conclusion. After all that, our opinions don't really fucking matter. Hey baby, it doesn't matter if a game fits the mold of good. If you like it, that's all that matters. No definitions can tarnish what you...
Does it not matter? I think it does matter. It does matter. Like, at least from a developer or designer viewpoint, it does matter, because like I said, with Nexus Defenders, I had some intentional design choices, and then what I learned after I released the game is I could have done certain things better. Because, like, yeah, you're never going to release a game that's perfect, but you want to know, how can you do better the next time? What can you do better on your next project so that we're continuously growing? You don't want to, like, not improve. Like, the whole point of life is to improve. You want to grow. You want to get better.
Yourself and get out of it. Fuck what society says. Sakurai 316. And that is a comforting notion. Thank goodness I can finally wrap up this goofy ass discussion. Am I the only one that when they showed this trailer thought, yep, this is probably going to be a very good game, maybe even great? Yet, I could not possibly be less interested. And maybe that's just Marvel burnout, right? Like, Marvel is like cheese now, they just put it on everything, but it's not just that. How many game trailers have you seen over the summer and just yawned? Not because it didn't look good, but because you've seen it before. Take it a step further. How many times have you played a game that you had absolutely zero problems with? A game that by all accounts was very damn good, polished, clean, fun, balanced, and yet, again, it just didn't do it for you as much as you thought that it would. This is probably a weirder phenomenon than liking something bad, because even if you can quantify what it is about the bad thing you do like and ignore what you don't, when you stumble across something that you can readily admit is a masterpiece and in the same breath say, I didn't care for it, that is strange. Maybe you have a game or a show like this. Maybe you have no clue what...
I think the complaint he's trying to get to is that if something's too by the numbers, it's playing it safe. I felt this way when I watched what was the first one with the first of the Rey Skywalker trilogy, Star Wars, was it Force Awakens, I think. The first one of this latest trilogy. Anyways, so like when I watched that one, I was like, yeah, this is okay. It feels familiar, which I eventually found out the reason why I felt familiar is because it's basically a retelling of A New Hope. But, you know, the point is like, yeah, there's nothing, I felt like there's nothing bad about what I watched, but it felt soulless. It didn't feel like it was great either. Same with what's it called? Captain Marvel. I was watching Captain Marvel at the theaters with my wife. And like there are times where it's like, yeah, this isn't bad, but it's boring. And there's even a point in watching the movie that I was like, man, I can't wait for this to just end. And when my wife and I left the theater, we're like, you know, exchanging thoughts and you know, like I was like, "What you think?" She was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." And then I was like, "Yeah, it was kind of good, but there was definitely a point in which I felt like I wanted the movie to end." And then she was like, "Yeah, I felt the same way too. I wanted to end also." And then at that point, we both realized, yeah, we didn't think it was as good as we initially said it was. After we both agreed that we wanted the movie to end. Because it was just too by the numbers, and also like the Captain Marvel had zero character growth. I mean, that's a huge problem, but aside from that, like it was just too by the numbers. And I think that's like his complaint here is that, okay, yeah, it's not bad, but it's just by the numbers. And when something is just, it doesn't do anything exceptional, it becomes forgettable. Hey, Name Gnome, how's it going? Yeah, Force Awakens. That's what. Thanks, Mohsen. That movie had an objectively bad script, but this does bring up a good question. How do you inject soul into a project? Um, I mean, in that case, like, they could have came up with something more unique because it was just following beat by beat um, the first movie, the original movie. But I mean, generally, you wanna have soul, um, I think the main thing you want to think about when coming up with your like let's say game, you come up with your game, you want to ask yourself, what is my unique selling point? And at that point, like you have to think about what makes yours different from the others of that genre. Because I mean, overall, you're not looking at like every game of all history. You're just looking at your direct competitors, which are the same genre, because you want to draw in that same audience. You're making a game, you have to define who your audience is, and you look at who your competitors are, which is the games of the similar genre, gameplay genre, and aesthetic theme. And then you say, okay, what makes mine stand out? What is unique about mine? And at that point, um, that will give you more soul than just being another game. What movies, you watch with your little ones? Um, Lately we watched, Kung Fu Panda. We watched all 3 Kung Fu all 3. There's a 4th one. We didn't watch the 4th one yet. We watched the first 3 Kung Fu Panda movies, and they love them. I think, Kung Fu Panda is very good with, like, first of all, I love the style. The style is really good, like, especially when they mix in the 2D stuff. It's funny, action's good, and it's simple enough for little kids to understand. We tried watching the first Sonic movie, and my second son, who is about to turn 4 years old, he he got bored. Like he loves Sonic, but he got bored like within the first act of the movie because it focused a lot on Sonic being sad about he was lonely. He was lonely for being by himself, and he wants to find other people to be with. And my 4-year-old didn't care about that. Like he just wants to see Sonic run fast and do cool things. So he didn't care. We switched over to Kung Fu Panda after that. Try watching Dragon Ball. No, I think my kids are too young for Dragon Ball. I mean, like I thought about like if I'd introduce Dragon Ball to like my oldest, who's 6 years old. Um, but it would definitely have to be like a a version that doesn't have like Bulma's butt because I know like there's one scene in the original Dragon Ball where Bulma pulled up her dress to show um Roshi her panties. In the American version, it shows her with underwear on. The Japanese version, she was wearing nothing, and yeah, there was even though it was a kids cartoon, there was still some adult stuff in there. So it would have to be like a version where I think that like one version. Um, so like the very first wish, Oolong like wished for like girls' panties or something like that. Um, and but I think it was in another version, they changed that first wish that he got something else. I can't remember. First Dragon Ball episodes are wild. Let's get back to oh, one thing real quick. Since I see Musin with the wild what's it called? Emojis. So I did update with new emojis. Here are all the emojis right here. I posted in the chat. Okay, there we go. Yeah, those are all the emojis. I got ew, brother, ew. I got Diva laughing. Adam Jensen saying, I never asked for this. I got Goku, Kojima, the dude from Uganda. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
I do not hear that at all. Oh, let me try that again. Let me try that again.
Why are you gay?
I don't know. No, my soundboard's not working. Maybe you guys might hear it, but I don't hear it at all. Wait a minute, what's this? Looping ground? I don't know. I don't know. That's supposed to say why you gay. Anyways, yeah. So got that guy. Got Gabe Newell. Got the blonde Chad with a beard, and I got the neckbeard Wojak guy. Anyways, let's ever watched Fifo Goes West? No, I have not seen it. I have not seen that one. Anyways, let's get going with this video. Let's wrap it up. How far in this am I? I'm like about an hour and almost an hour and 10 minutes into the stream. All right, let's get going.
I'm talking about. Someone on stream said that they didn't care for Dune despite fully knowing it was brilliant and yet loved the Minecraft movie despite knowing it was garbage. Humans are very odd. How on earth does this happen? How on earth does the new 007 game have less favorable reviews on Steam than Coconut Simulator? And I think that stupid objective truth right there is what this discussion is really about. Is there a correct way to make games and films?
Again, Coconut Simulator is a meme. That's why I got so many positive reviews, because it brought in the meme audience.
Literature and food? Of course there is. We all understand that. But correct isn't always what's most thrilling or captivating. Coconut Simulator took a risk. It shouldn't work by every definition. Games should have controls unless you're controlling a coconut, which makes it hilarious and memorable. And obviously this is a gag game and these reviews likely reflect how funny people think it is, so it's really not a fair comparison to 007. But my point is simply that
At least he brought it up. 15 minutes into the video, he finally brought it up. There's an exception to every rule because that's
an exception to every rule because at some point someone made something that demanded an exception be considered. Glitches were a bad thing until horror came along and made us all realize that it could be used as a narrative tool. Combat in a 3D space was not advisable until Ocarina of Time perfected the Z targeting system. Using a mouse to control a sledgehammer was not a good idea for a climbing game until it was. Social deduction simply was not a genre until Among Us came along. Historically, the games that are most remembered are the ones that revolutionized in some way. Games that decided to break a rule and challenge what we all thought was correct. Correct. The games
with Nier Automata, it's more about like the theme of it focusing on like why, like the philosophy of existence, like why do we exist? Like that's what made that memorable. I don't think the gameplay is why it's memorable. Like, it's more about like the theme itself. The gameplay drew people in because people were expecting a Platinum Games game, and they got it. Yeah, it was pretty good combat. It's not the best. It's not the most challenging, but like what kept people coming was the
most remembered are the ones that revolutionized in some way. Games that decided to break a rule and challenge what we all thought was correct. And this is why I think some of us see a game like Wolverine and shrug. We know it'll be great. We know it'll have gruesome combat and edgy dialogue and have the best graphics available. We know it'll follow the rules. But will it take a creative risk? Will it morph what our current understanding?
Yeah, that's funny. I was talking about this earlier. The whole like pushing the boundaries and knowing when to break the rules. That's really what I was talking about earlier. So now he's come around to agree with me. Was he trolling me the whole time? Let me see what we got over here. We got Mohsen. Okay, I think once we look lockdown concept. The conceit / concept. Yes, there is an objective way to go about it, and then you need to inject some soul. You can do this via rule breaking, novelty, classicism, etc. Am I correct so far? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think that's definitely yeah, that's basically what I was saying earlier. Yeah, like understand the fundamentals and get good at the basics, and then once you understand how to break the rules, because what people like and what's most memorable to people is when something is different, when something stands out. Like that's the whole rule of contrast. When something stands out so much, that's when it becomes more it's well, one, it becomes more noticeable, but then it becomes more memorable. And when you push the envelope so far and get people stirred up, then they're going to be able to remember it for a longer time. Why do we exist? Just to suffer, Snake. Snake. One thing that really truly scares me is people finding my game boring. You're gonna make boring games. That's just a reality. Like, you don't get better by making one game. You can't expect all like your first game to be a banger. In fact, you should go in understanding that your first game is definitely not gonna be great. I mean, like, Nexus Defenders is not the first game I made. It's the first game I released on Steam, the first commercial game I made, but it wasn't the first game I made. It was the largest game I've made so far on my own, but it's not the first game I made. I made more projects that were like just throwaway games. Um and this is just something you have to understand, that like the more you do something, the better you become. Uh and a bad game is not a failure if you didn't learn from it. Like, the most important thing that you take away from your bad projects is what you can do better the next time. That's why after I released Nexus Defenders, I did an after action review, and I looked at all right, what went right, what went wrong, what can I do better next time? Let's continue.
Of correct is and blow us away with something we've never seen before. When I was reading through the responses on Patreon, I noticed that the things people loved about these stereotypically bad games that they mentioned were typically that each title offered something unique. David here admits that Alpha Protocol does have massive flaws, but the genuine impact of your decisions when you play is fantastic. Sharky says that Oddworld is an extremely weird game, but they still love it because of how outlandish the mechanics are. Nishimiya and I agree that Nier Replicant is a tedious, slow, frustrating game to actually play at times, and often hard to recommend, but the way that it systematically breaks your heart through a language barrier and recontextualizes all of your actions on a second playthrough is something that you can only find there. The amount of people that know Sonic Adventure sucks, but can't ignore how it is simply dripping with attitude was duly noted. And I read a lot of frustrations about gacha games as well, actually, the consensus being that despite how, one, yes, the gacha system is what it is and generally considered a corporate, greedy, and infuriating practice, and two, these games often get labeled as gooner games, some folks do not care. The stories are often quite good, sometimes so good that people sob at the closure they get when crossovers happen. The gameplay is fun to many, and the bonus content that is consistently added.
I'm sorry, but you gotta touch grass. Gotta touch grass. Can't be that way.
Not just in new characters and crossovers, but also things like music videos of the characters and fucking short films being published to socials just to embellish the world and make it feel more alive is amazing. Can you imagine, just for a second, if Square did things like this for Final Fantasy, or if Nintendo posted an animation of Link and Zelda dancing like this? Like, really take yourself through how the internet would melt to see a canonical animation like this. Are these bad games? Maybe. But when developers and publishers support the worlds they've built like this and try to do things that will really surprise us, it goes to show that what we respond to as people, I think, is less when games follow the rules and more so when they simply go for it. When the writers and developers just swing for the fences, conventional knowledge be damned. I would rather a game be brave, not correct. Because correct is, in at least one way...
He's killing me with this whole coconut sim. He's killing me.
Subjective. Correct is an old, rotting mural that steadily morphs as artists carve their own exceptions into it over the years. And to me, that is what innovation is. That is why we really need objectively bad games, and that is subjectively pretty damn cool.
Okay.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. And
all right, thank you, Daryl. Daryl, for your video. I'll give it a thumbs up since we watched it. I think I should make that a routine in which I give if I do a video reaction. If I do a reaction to their video, I should give them a thumbs up regardless. So it seemed like at the end he was agreeing kind of with me, because I came to this conclusion much earlier that I like the whole idea of like the intention. I completely disagree with that. I mean, it doesn't seem like he changed his mind on that, but he shifted his focus towards making something exceptional, which that I agree with. Making something exceptional makes it memorable, but also like I think he's conflating multiple definitions. Like being good and exceptional are two different things. Being good and memorable are different things. Um these are different words that mean different things. Like I could say a game is good, but doesn't mean it's memorable. I could say something is memorable, but doesn't mean it's good. And yeah, he did say at the end, like, yeah, we need bad games. But a game doesn't need to be bad to be memorable either. Like, memorable does not mean good or bad. Like, you could have a bad game that's that's just that's not memorable. Like, I feel like he was mixing up a lot of different concepts, but that's my thought on this. Let's switch over. What do you guys think, chat? What do you guys think about an hour 20 into this? All right, let's see. Nintendo got a huge wake up call on being formulaic with Pal World. Yeah. Well, that's why they're trying to kill the competition by creating patents on that. Let me take this off. Let's see. Anyways, what you guys think about that video? I feel like he was kind of all over the place, but I really didn't like his whole example with the coconut sim, because the coconut sim is just, it's literally a meme game. If being memorable or like something that is standing out is the same as good, then all successful meme games are good, which I completely disagree. Meme games are memes. They are meant only to go viral. They are meant to, like, just, they're just meant to be a meme. So I disagree with that. They went to court for that, right? Yeah. They're trying to patent the idea of like collecting monsters and using them to battle each other. Let's see what else. Let's talk about this real quick. I want to talk about this top. So let's switch over. I'm gonna do this topic really quick. Not gonna spend too much time on this topic. You should make a meme game just for the money. I should. Yeah, I need to make money. I need money. So let's talk about this. Let's get this on screen. So, Colt Classic Cage, who I don't have anything against her. In fact, I was in a when I last year I was on Saturday Night Hypnosis. And Colt Classic Cage, I think her name's Cassie. Anyways, she she's one of the panelists on that podcast. So I don't have anything against her, but I strongly disagree with what she's going on about. So this word right here on screen, I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to trigger the YouTube the YouTube triggers if you say it too many times. So I'll say suggestive. I will say if I say suggestive, I'm actually saying this. Okay, guys. Anyway, so she did this quote tweet talking about so Fortnite's new skins are going viral due to the mature themes. So basically, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are in bikinis. I intentionally made this big so that I'm not drawing attention to their bodies, because even though they are cartoon characters, I don't want to promote that on my channel. I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in promoting the objectification of women, so I don't want to have that on my screen. But you I think adding an M to it isn't gonna help. Thank you, Name Gnome. You should make a yeah, so but you get the idea of what they're wearing from like this zoom in. Anyway, so uh Cult Classic Cage, she says, I know a lot of people are completely moronic about the bikini is not inherently suggestive at all. I know some sad sack of doo doo needed to hear that. So I guess I'm a sad sack of doo doo. Anyways. Anyways, so this idea that the bikini is not suggestive. First of all, this is like this is a like a more of a progressive talking point that things like a bikini is not suggestive. It's not inherently suggestive. It was First of all, it was invented in like the 1940s, like late 1940s, with the intent of it being shocking. Before then, actually, so this was like this is a video I have up. This is from the 60s, I think. So this is from Britain. Let me unmute this. Let's play this really quick. Okay, let's start this all over. So basically, they're showing these women in, I think it's in the UK, this dress that has a very low top.
What do you think?
Disgusting.
Why?
Any girl with any decency would never walk in straight with them on.
But they might wear one of the...
Disgusting.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It's really disgusting. I wouldn't wear one. Try and catch on in Wolverhampton.
Well, I think it's just a gimmick, and
like the point being from this video is that like this is in the 1960s, and when they saw this low cut shirt, they're like, yeah, this is too revealing. This is too much. Nowadays, like people wouldn't even blink. They would not only in fact, this is too covering. The dress itself is too covering nowadays. Because throughout it was the 60s and 70s, there was the suggestive revolution, this word right here. And during this time, it became more normalized for like the whole idea of like showing more of your body, like going on the beach wearing nothing. Like this became normalized during this period. Also, like public nudists also became more like they pushed for this stuff, like for it to be normalized. So that's literally where all this came from. It's a more progressive ideology, and like and the only reason why like in Western society this is seen as the norm is because progressive ideology is the norm in Western society. It's not religious. It's no longer religious ideologies. Now the mainstream ideology in the West is secularism. So that's what she had to say. And let me zoom pretty quickly. Boop. Oh, there we go. Anyways, let's make that smaller. Let's go to where I was. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, there's me with like the most likes. But I said, I disagree. A fit woman's body is inherently suggestive, not the clothing itself. Like that's the main point I'm trying to make. The clothing itself, the material is not what makes a person suggestive. It's the body. So a fit woman's body is inherently suggestive. A healthy woman's form naturally triggers attraction and suggestive arousal. A bikini just reveals that form. If the barely clothed woman's body isn't suggestive at all, then nothing is suggestive. And that's my thesis. I mean, I'm limited to the amount of words I can use on on Twitter because I don't have Twitter Blue. I don't want to get Twitter Blue. So or X or blue check, whatever it's called, the blue check mark. I don't want to get that. So I'm limited to how many characters I have. And, the thesis I'm putting down is that it's the body that people, get triggered from, and that, revealing more of it makes it more suggestive. So, with that said, yes, the bikini is suggestive. Like, that's my point. And then we got clowns who want to like twist what I have to say. Like, that doesn't make any sense. A fit woman isn't inherently suggestive. You're just horny AF. And I asked this goofball. I was like, "Hey, what's your reading level at? Or did you intentionally leave out the word body to strawman my point?" Because I said a fit woman's body, and this person says a fit woman. Like when you remove words from a sentence, it changes the meaning of the sentence. I didn't say the woman is suggestive. I'm saying the body is suggestive. And this comes from a misconception that the self is the same as the body. Like the body and self are two different things. Like if I lose my arm, my body is different. Like I have lost an arm. I'm now an amputee, but I am still Mustafa. I am still the same person. My self hasn't changed, but the body has changed. Like those are two different things. So I asked him, like, "Hey, are you trying to straw man my point, or you bad at reading?" And then this goofball doubles down. The word body has no place in the argument. Fit woman is sufficient. And then goes on like talking about how your mind determines what is suggestive or not. Oh, okay. All right. So you're doubling down on being illiterate? Good job. You don't know how sentences work, and you don't know how human mate selection works either, because first of all, he thinks removing words is totally fine. So he clearly doesn't know what sentence structure means, or he's trolling, or he's being a bad actor. Could be any of the above. And then also says that your mind decides what is suggestive. Then you don't know. You don't know. Like either you're being dumb, you're being intentionally dumb, or you don't know how the human mating selection works, because we are programmed to survive. We're programmed to lure towards what leads to survival, such as gathering with other humans. Gathering with other humans leads to survival, because the more humans you have in your tribe, in your community, whatever you want to call it, the higher your chances of survival are. To fight off invaders, to fight off danger, etc., to help build more resources, all these things. And then like as far as mate selection, we are programmed for what looks healthy. Men are programmed to be attracted towards healthy women. That's why I said a fit woman's body, because of fit or healthy, like I said in this one right here, a healthy woman's form naturally triggers attraction, because men want to have a healthy woman who can birth them a legacy, birth them offspring. Like all the things that are conventionally attractive, such as an hourglass figure, having clear skin, no deformities, being in a healthy weight range. Like all these things are attractive because they indicate health. A lot of beauty standards literally come from health. And when they try to push for unhealthy beauty standards, like the whole like what's it called? The um body positivity movement, like they tried putting like obese people in Sports Illustrated. They did that for so long, for so many years, and people rejected it because you can't the mind doesn't choose. Like this guy's the mind determines what is suggestive or not. This is why people rejected it, because even though you'll have some people who are into it, that's more of a fetish than anything else, because the what defines I don't want to repeat that word, the F word. I don't want to repeat it too many times, but what defines the F word is that let me stop the ad. Okay. Yeah, what defines that word is that it is something that triggers a person that doesn't usually trigger the person. For example, you have people who are into watching people eat, like eating food, like what's it called, mukbangs or whatever. Like there are people who are into watching that. That isn't going to attract the majority of people, like 90% of people, whatever. I'm just throwing a number. Vast majority of people will look at this and be like, that's weird. But you'll have a small minority of people who are going to be really into that. And that's what makes it the F word. And that's same thing with like morbidly obese people. You're going to have a small minority of people who are like, yeah, I'm into that. But most people who will see a morbidly obese person in a, Sports Illustrated magazine, they'll be like, why is this in here? This is not attractive. Because the mind doesn't just determine it, our inner programming does. So yeah, that's the main point I'm trying to make with here. And with that said, certain body types are going to be more suggestive than others. Like with I'm not gonna scroll up to show Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn again, but Poison Ivy's figure is more hourglass. She has more curves with those Fortnite models. So with the fact that she's showing more of her, of her chest, and also she's more curvy, then yeah, she's going to be more suggestive. Harley Quinn, while she still has a healthy physique, at least in that model, she's less curvy. She's more skinny. So that's why people will see her as less suggestive, and you'll have people arguing, hey, bikini's not something suggestive. Well, like, not all bodies are the same. But the point being, my thesis with this is that the more body you show, the more suggestive it's going to be. Like, simple as that. What do you guys think in the chat? Agree? Disagree? Am I crazy? Am I making stuff up? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. While you guys are while I catch up with the chat, you guys let me know what your thoughts are. What should I do real quick? Hold on, let me take this off screen. Transition. Take it off screen. So let me cover. Okay. Okay, I gotta do member shout outs. I gotta remember that. But I have to remember to do member shout outs. I just want to. Just Mustin asked earlier about job updates. As far as my life update, nothing has changed. Still searching for work. Still applying for jobs. I did find that there's like a big like heating and air company that's like 40 minutes away from here that has lots of jobs. So I'm going to put some effort into applying to. I did apply to some jobs, but I'm going to put some effort to finding more jobs there that I can apply to, and gonna try to see if I could find a recruiter that works there and reach out to them. It's just like a warehouse, but trying to find something that's more suitable for me, like, for example, like a supervisor position rather than, a warehouse associate because I'm too old to be running around lifting stuff all day. Give me something more, like brain work than muscle work. Um, Aside from that, still reaching out to recruiters regarding what I think last time I talked about supply chain and procurement. Still reaching out to recruiters regarding that. I haven't found anything else. No real leads. Um, I did email Laura Fryer regarding thumbnails. No reply from her. I sent her a follow-up email last night. Um, so I don't expect anything out of that. Even if something did come of it, like let's say, I end up doing thumbnails for her. Like it would be like what, maybe $30 a thumbnail, depending on how well the videos do. Because even then, like if the videos aren't drawing in the audience, maybe $30 is too much. Maybe it would have to be like 15. And at that point, it's like, oh, I gotta make sure that I make these in like less than an hour. I can't spend too much time on a thumbnail if I'm only making $15. Definitely can't spend more than an hour on it. But I don't think I honestly don't even think that she'll reply because she didn't reply to the first one. But figure I send a follow up, and I mean it is what it is. Um, and then let me get to the chat. Let's get to the chat. Let's see. Let's get here. Okay. Guy crying. All right. Yeah, Mohsen, we agree that it's inherently bikini is inherently suggestive. Um, women having experience equals opinions equals ignore. Respect to Wolverhampton. I don't get that one. Stiller Blade could have done without the obvious suggestiveness. To be honest, I mean that was part of the draw. I mean, like as much as I'm against it, I will admit it's part of the draw. Though it's to me it is. I mean, my opinion is that it pushes guys towards a lot of it. So a lot of adult entertainment has been pushing guys towards accepting things that they normally wouldn't. Um, like there are statistics that show that guys are more willing to watch, for example, guy on guy action because they've watched so much adult entertainment, and they wouldn't have normally if it weren't for that. um and with Stellar Blade, like I watched like the trailer, and it's like first of all you have this woman who's like extremely curvy and has something that's form fitting, so leaves little to the imagination. But then she's also fighting like these zombies, like these gross looking monsters. So like it makes me think, are they trying to get people, like young men, excited, and also like as they're excited they're seeing these gross monsters, so it, like tricks the brain into also liking these things as well? I don't know. Like that's just a theory, but or something to think about. Um, let's see. Agree, 'cause even tight gym clothes. Which one could argue? So, like speaking of the tight gym clothes, like I saw this video on X, on Twitter. So it's like you know all these women that go to the gym and they film themselves, and then like they try to act like guys are messing with them. And this one girl's like barely wearing anything, and then it said, like the caption says, "When a man starts working out next to you," and she's like doing like crunches or something, and then she puts a shirt like let me. So she takes the shirt. I mean, it's much smaller than this, but she like starts putting it on her chest like this, and it's like, yo, just wear a shirt. Stop going to the gym wearing nothing, and then it wouldn't be a problem. Like, why is it a problem? Why are you going to the public gym dressed like this, and then it becomes a problem when a guy works out next to you? Like, maybe you shouldn't dress like that. Maybe that's a thought. Okay, rather look at some curves while killing monsters. Okay, I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Name gnome. That's. I mean, I think it's. I think overall it's a problem for society, but the best I can do is just explain the stance that it's a problem for society, and maybe I can convince you. That's it. That's all I can do. Not need to argue with stupid people. They beat you every time based off their sheer experience. Yeah, that's why I blocked that guy that was replying to me, because I gave the guy one chance to like acknowledge the word body. Removing that changes the whole sentence. But no, the guy doubled down. He's like, "Oh, the word means nothing, and also you choose what's suggestive." All right, you're blocked. You're blocked. I'm done with you. I don't have time to go back and forth with goofballs. Our part for the chorus for when wearing tight butt cheeks and cheek jiggles. Yeah. Make a game about what it's like to be a flower growing in real time. That's deep. That's deep. Though there is the game Flower on PS3. That's a game. I mean, some people will argue that it's barely a game. Flower is pretty good. So Flower is made by the same people who made Journey. But it's not like you just watch the flower grow. Your flower petals and you fly around. It was a very artistic experience. It was nice. Short but nice. There's a game Flower, but oh yeah. There we go. Personal YouTube channel mentioned it. Yeah, that game company. Anyways, do I have anything else I want to mention? We can skip that. Okay, let me get the member shout outs real quick. Let's get this on screen. We'll wrap things up. If you want to do a super chat, go ahead and do a super chat. If you want to become a member, I appreciate all the people who are becoming members. I definitely appreciate the support. Helps the channel keep going. It incentivizes me to keep doing the YouTube, because I mean, quite frankly, like it's first of all, the financial situation is a bit rough. I mean, like, just to show on screen real quick. Hey, oh wow, there's those are probably the live stream viewers right now. That's going up, but let's show this on screen. Yeah, so I mean, like, as you can see here, I'm not like racking in the money or anything. Just $85 from it was Mr. 10 Years, who donated like I think it was 20 gift subs. So that was mostly from that. But like I said, I'm not like racking in the money, and I mean, even outside of this, I'm having a hard time, but I trust God. I trust God will lead me towards better paying opportunities, especially to help provide for my family. But let's get on with where are. So I go here, then I go to members, and then I go to view all, and let's sort them by this order. So let's get through these real quick. I appreciate all the members, even the gift members. Zedzag, 16 Headler, Gizmobobo, Scott Robinson, Mohid, Crash and Burn Nova, Asger John, Fire Alone, Mr. 10 Years, James, Marbury, St. Hugo, Format, Neckbeard, Katana, John Doe, Josh Kitten, Spartan Case, and there's Peaceful Dance, Bite Me Games, High Tech Bull, Kyle B, and Southern 93. I think Southern 93 is a new sub. Anyways, appreciate all you guys, everyone who is helping the channel out. Let me switch back to this. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys who are supporting the channel. I did say like a couple weeks ago I was planning on recording a video. I mean, it's been busy trying to apply for jobs, doing my warehouse job. Maybe I shouldn't say I shouldn't say something unless I actually start on it, because it makes me feel bad when I say I want to do this and then I don't do it. But I guess it leads to accountability. But anyways, let's wrap it up. I appreciate all you guys being here. Next week I should also be doing the live stream at the same day. Calendar, let's see. It should be Tuesday. I think I'm available. Let's look at the calendar. Yeah, I'll be available next week. Anyways, thanks again. Let me see, anything else new? All right, nothing new. All right. Thank you. Take care, and